Major placements are hard to get. Most people who make beats never get major placements. So of course, now people are trying to sell them to you. New year, new scam, right? Well, actually, back around 2006, I submitted beats to a management company who told me that for $400 a month, they could shop my beats around New York. And when I told them that I was hesitant to give them $400 up front for a service that couldn't guarantee anything, they told me I wasn't serious about my career. About a year and a half later, I had a major placement on a #1 album, and I didn't pay a cent for it. Now these days, these types of pay for placement offers are everywhere. And I shouldn't call them offers, I need to call them what they are: scams. And we need to protect ourselves and our people from falling victim to these scams. I had a producer recently ask me if I had ever paid for a collab. I told him no, and he said, and I quote, "Wow, that's insane that you still managed to get placements." So what he's saying is exactly what a lot of new beat makers and producers are feeling, which is that in order to be successful as a producer in the music business, that you have to pay to get big opportunities. What happened to us? We really think we have to pay to work in this business? So the question on everybody's mind is, can you pay for a placement? A lot of producers think that's how the music industry works. Obviously, in the business, you have to invest in yourself in most cases, but we've been convinced that pay to play is the norm, and that's not just producers, it's rappers who are told that they have to pay to get access to an A&R at a major label. It's DJs who are being told that they have to pay to get on a festival bill. And it's producers being told that they need to pay to submit their beats to placement opportunities, or much, much, much worse these days. Pay to play is not the norm. It's not how the business works. We need to kill this narrative. So can you pay for a placement? You can pay for a feature, and even then the artist might not complete the feature. We've seen that happen plenty of times. And say that they do complete the feature, their label might not clear it. That just happened to me recently, actually. I have this dope song, Mr. Fab featuring Rick Ross. Great Rick Ross verse too, by the way. Produced by me, Darrell Banks, and then featuring my man Trax. He wrote the hook. So the verse didn't get cleared by Rick Ross's label, so the song just didn't come out. It's just sitting on my computer. So even though the song is done, it's not out yet. So more on that later. If I were desperate for money, I could probably ask an up-and-coming producer for $2,500 for a guaranteed placement opportunity. What I would do is just take 1,000 of that and pay for a feature with, some moderately big artist, pocket the remaining 1,500, and then just drop it on my DistroKid account or something and call it a placement. Is it a placement though? I would say no. I would say that's a scam, and I would never do that. I've definitely seen situations where producers have paid for collabs with bigger producers, and those beats have ended up becoming placements. It's not common, but it's not impossible. So I'm not here to discourage producers from paying for collaborations with bigger producers, as long as those collaborations are legitimate opportunities. There are a lot of scams. There are a lot of people out there that will ask you to wire them money so you can't ever get a refund, and then they just never complete the collab in your SOL. But if you're paying for collaborations with these other producers, don't do it because you expect a placement. Do it because you want to make good music and learn from a producer you respect. And as I said, be sure to send that money through PayPal or some other service that allows you to dispute the case and receive a refund if they run off with your money and never send the beat back and stop responding to your emails or texts. Because it happens a lot these days, and it's pathetic. You have a bunch of fake-ass producers who care more about making a couple hundred quick dollars, preying on the ignorance of up-and-coming producers who they were just like at some point in their careers, rather than honoring their agreements, rather than actually caring about the music. So switching gears, can anyone actually guarantee you a placement? If you pay them, if you don't pay them, just period. Can anyone guarantee you a placement? There are no guarantees in the music business. That's one thing I've learned. You have actual A&Rs and managers and executive producers, and then producers who are signed to the A&Rs who are probably going to get the placement above you. And you have all these people involved in this project who usually have to approve of the songs in order for them to make the album and actually be released. And even if you get to the point where the song is approved by everybody and it's on the album, it's listed, everything, there's still not a guarantee that that song is going to be released. So for example, this happened to me with the Games album, Jesus Piece. I had this record, you probably heard it because it's leaked. I don't know who leaked it. It was a game featuring Jadakiss, Styles P, and AR-16, I believe. And that was supposed to be on Jesus Piece, the deluxe version. I signed an agreement with Interscope. I got paid half of the advance, which was a good $5,000. It was a good, that was just half of the advance. The full advance was 10. And it was confirmed to be on the project. You could even go on Amazon. Maybe you still can. Imagine my surprise the day it came out and my song was not on the project. Maybe they couldn't clear a verse. Maybe anything could have happened. Maybe it was a printing error. I don't know. But even though I got paid $5,000 and signed all the paperwork for this record, it still didn't come out. So when someone says, I can guarantee you a placement, just send me $200, come on, man. So I have producers asking me, if you can't pay for a placement, how else are you supposed to get a placement? And that question makes me hate the internet, because we used to just make music and network our asses off and work really hard. And we used to go to events and shake hands and make genuine connections with people over the course of years and try to set up studio sessions and try to meet managers and try to meet artists, get phone numbers, get email addresses, network on social media once social media was the prominent form of communication within the music industry. But I don't remember us trying to pay our way into the music business. And granted, the internet has changed a lot of things. I think it's actually made it easier to network, to be honest with you. That's why you have so many producers from overseas who have never even been in the States working with all these American rappers and producers. And the game seems a lot more convoluted because of the internet and because of all the scammers and all the lies being spread. One of the lies is that you have to pay to play in the music business. That's just a lie that benefits people who want to take advantage of you. But we spread it like wildfire throughout social media, because that's just what we've been trained to do, and we're just playing right into their hands. But in spite of all of that, in spite of the changes that have come with the internet, good music is still good music. Good networking is still good networking, and relationships are still some of the most powerful tools you can have in any business, but especially the music industry. And honestly, the notion that placements are a given and that they're just something that you can buy is crazy. I mean, if you just started making beats, and a lot of producers have this mindset, unfortunately. You just started making beats, you haven't put in the work producing artists that are just as new as you and gaining experience and growing. You really think you have a Drake placement coming in the next month? A lot of people just want to skip steps. That's why that meme of the dude skipping all those steps is hilarious, because it's like, this is really happening. Producer makes a beat, on the 1st of January, and on the 10th of January, he's sending tweets to Drake and Roddy Ricch saying, I'm the hottest producer, I got beats. And then by February, when he hasn't gotten the placement, he's mad about it. For me, it took me 10 years from when I started making beats to when I got my first placement. Obviously, it would have taken me probably shorter if I had been more focused on that and had my head in the right place. I didn't. Still, I appreciate patience as a result of going through that process and seeing my peers go through the same process, having to grind over time, build relationships, nurture those relationships, put in the groundwork, put in the legwork. And to the people who are asking that question, how do I get placements if I can't pay for them? Another thing is you got to work with rappers that are accessible to you, rappers you can actually build something with. Trying to go from making your first 20 beats to getting a little baby placement is not realistic, it's not reasonable. And sometimes you just have to step back and put things into perspective and put your priorities into perspective and develop yourself a little more, grow a little more, because the up and coming rappers of today are the celebrity rappers of tomorrow. So, work with these artists. Even if they don't become tomorrow's Drake, you still got experience as a producer working directly with an artist, and that's a really valuable experience. If your only priority is getting a placement, you gotta get a placement, you don't care about anything else, that's like pouring blood in the shark tank. All these scammers are gonna smell your desperation, and they're gonna see that that's your priority, and they're going to exploit it. That's a big reason why a lot of this is happening to people. I'm not blaming the victim. I understand that feeling of desperation, but it's still a feeling that producers themselves can change. They don't have to choose to be that way. Lastly, investing in your career is fine. It's oftentimes necessary. Buying equipment, paying for education, paying for mentorship programs, setting aside a daily budget for advertisements of your beat store on Instagram and Facebook. These are all good, positive things. But these scammers play on the concept of investing in yourself. Like the story I told you when one of these managers said, I'll shop your beats for $400 a month. When I said, nah, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. He tried to shame me into not being serious about my career. You're not trying to invest in your career. You're a bum. You're broke. All this stuff. I see it all the time. And shout out to all the people who do this. Shout out to all the people who are getting scammed by these scammers, and they're posting the screenshots and they're sharing the scams with the community. Producer Grind is doing this a lot. Adam Friedman is doing this a lot. Individual producers who have either fallen victim to the scams or who are getting contacted by the scammers but know better are doing this. Just don't let people shame you because you don't want to give them money for some service that you didn't even ask for. Investing in yourself does not mean being stupid. Don't let them play you like that. So when these scammers reach out to you, tell you that they need $300 or $700 to get you a major placement on the next NBA Youngboy album, and you say no and they try to shame you into it, tell them kiss your ass, take a screenshot of the conversation and share it on social media so that nobody else falls victim to that scam. Be safe. Wishing you much success and prosperity in the new year. Peace.